Hello friends and welcome to another episode of Change. As we change, we think that we change so many things around us. And a changing personality requires a lot of changes along with it. One of the things that is changing in today's world is the way we eat. What we eat, how much we eat, when we eat, all of that has changed. 50 years ago, I do not think so that there was anything called international cuisine. If it was only for some of the people who traveled the world and who could explore these things. But today, world is a global village. We have shared a lot of things have changed. We have imported cuisines, dishes, so everything is locally available. And yet, are we aware that these changes that we have made any changes to us? Food for thought is what some people say. Now let's think about food. Today we have in the studio Rajyoga Brahmakumaris Usha Didi with us. Didi, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Food, everybody thinks, is a basic necessity. It is something that everyone requires, and that is the reason a person is living or earning or slogging day in and out. But how much is actually true about it? Are we all working just for the sake of 3 square meals a day?
I don't think so, because it's not just the food sometimes, but the luxurious, the taste that people are becoming slaves of.
Before you go on to that, I would say that everybody loves good food.
Yes.
If somebody would give me a feast, let's say there is a party and somebody would offer nice food, I would say like, wow, so lovely of the host that he or she could cook something so special for us. Not only now, but it has been an age-old culture, especially in India. When somebody is born, when somebody's birthday is celebrated, when there is a function in the house, even when it is wedding, not just wedding, even when somebody dies, it is a culture all across the world that there are feasts. There is I would not call it a celebration, but there would be an event where food is involved. The food is involved about pleasing others, to satisfy them.
Well, to have a party, to have good food is nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays in the world, when there is the trend that people's life has become so fast, and so their eating habits are also like everything should be very quick, instant. Instant noodles in 2 minutes. Everything, huh?
Yes.
So 2 minutes taking that food. Sometimes we hardly realize that how much we are able to, or maybe our system is able to digest it or not. So instead of having a good meal where proteins, vitamins, carbohydrates, everything should be like in a balanced form, more in the world we find that people are taking in carbohydrates. And in the fast food especially, when there is a lot of carbohydrates, that is why we find that they are hyper. Their natures are also changing because of their food habits. The consciousness is changing. And that is why we find that they think that no, we have to run, we have to go, we are always on the move, we are always on the go, so we have no time to cook.
Our lives have become fast, so our food has become fast, or our food has become fast food, and that is the reason our life become fast. Which one is true?
It is because our lifestyle has become fast that people do not find time, or they think it's a waste of time to spend so many hours in the kitchen. And some of the people don't know how to cook. So it is better to get those things ready and have it, finish it.
So there is ready-to-eat meals available now.
So that is why their food has become. But as there is a saying in India, that as is the food, so will be the mind. So the food is affecting the mind and the thoughts also. So that thoughts are also rushing. Their life is in a rush. The food is in a rush. So the thoughts are in a rush. People can't control. They are so much. And when the rush is there, definitely the quality deteriorates. So the rush in thought means good thoughts, positive thoughts is less. Because when there is positive thoughts, we generally tend to think slowly. Positive thoughts cannot be fast.
For many people, food is just something to fill their stomach up with. We grab food from the street, or sometimes at the subway, or at the metro station, or a railway station, at a public transport junction, whatever is available, let's put it in and let's go. Because what is important today is our work, our life, meaning our ability to earn money. There is something lost here. Either we are not giving importance to food at all, or are we too much focused on it?
Yeah, it's true that people are focused so much on their work, and maybe I would also say that sometimes people are lazy in cooking. They have least interest. Even girls, I see, they want to work, but they don't want to work in the kitchen. They want to work in an office. They want to do a lot of office work, and they're also rushing. And whenever their parents or their mother says that, look, if you get married, what are you going to do? We shall eat outside. So that shows that I'm least interested in cooking. So when they are least interested in cooking, they don't get that taste. And definitely that fast food is not good for health. Nowadays the doctors are saying this to small children who are constantly, they don't eat regular food, even at home. Small children, they want fast food. That's it.
And when you talk about fast foods, it is ready to eat foods and stuff which is quickly cooked,
which is not good for the they don't have that much of vitamins in it.
It is not rich in nutrients, but also laden with a lot of preservatives, harmful chemicals, and it is eventually harming people. And there are special packets of chip which says that it contains monosodium glutamate and other preservatives, which is not suitable for young children. And yet we know that young children are the largest consumers of chips.
So that shows that finally when they get victim of some disease, then they would try to consult a dietitian. Or maybe when they go to the doctor and the doctor says, you have to consult a dietitian for this, and you have to regularize your food and take in healthy food. So that is when we find that children, they are not developed mentally. And that is why in their behavior also we find the parents try to tell them, look, you can't behave like this. You have to behave like this. You have to do this. And they don't care. These young children, when they grow up, because the foundation is weak, so when they grow up, definitely they don't respect the feelings of others. And they don't care for the feelings of others. And that is where they are hurting so many people around them. And finally they hurt themselves also. So that is where they land up in depression. So food is the main cause why people are landing up in depression.
I remember it was one of the national gas providers, and the motto of that company was, cook food, serve love. And it very rightfully justified what the philosophy or the belief system behind food in India was. That if you really love someone, then there are different ways to show it, and the best way to show it is cook something nice for them.
Cook something nice.
And it is no doubt that mothers would try to cook something new every day for the children.
For the children, yes. To please them.
To please them.
To make them happy.
To make them happy. And the children would say that, what is this today? So that would happen. And today, that, like you said, the young girls not wanting to cook, and they very boldly flaunting it out, saying we will eat out. So the cooking element has gone.
Yeah.
And many people, many girls would, for that matter, would start learning cooking only when they get married and they realize that everyday eating out is not an option. In fact, for boys who start working, who are single bachelor boys, they also have realized we cannot eat outside in the restaurant every day. Something is special about homemade cooking.
Yeah.
So the love element that comes in plays a very vital role. And no matter what people say, first, it used to be a saying which said that the way to man's heart is through his stomach. But now, I think we have damaged that way.
Yes, we have damaged that way, definitely. And it is seen that when I was talking about, as is the food, so is the mind and the thoughts. You see, when people eat food in the hotels, the person who is cooking food there is cooking the food, or a chef who's cooking the food there, constantly has in his mind, through this food I'm going to earn my living. So the earning element, and that is why those who eat that food also becomes money minded.
They also think about earning.
Yes, they also think about earning, gathering a lot of money. That's their aim in life, because the food regularly they are taking is such. That is why it is said at home, when the mothers used to cook the food and with all the love, children when they stay out in hostels, maybe outside for study, and when they come home, they say, Mom, we have been missing your food. That's the thing. Because that love, the love is only experienced because when the mother is preparing, she has no intention of earning. She has no intention of any other thing, gaining, but just to give.
Yes.
And the more she has to give, the more the feelings in the children also will be such. But even at home also, if there is a chef, definitely the quality in the sanskaras and the way of thinking of the children changes. And they don't have love for their parents also. Similarly, we find prasad.
Yes.
When a person goes to the temple, there the person who has been making that food has this feeling, I'm making it for God. So there should be no impurity, no negative thoughts when I'm cooking. So much attention is maintained. The purity is maintained when they are cooking for prasad or gods. And when it is offered to God, and that which is accepted as a prasad, the feelings are with so much of respect. We take it with both the hands. We touch our forehead. Have respect. Take it so that not even a small particle falls down. If anybody tend to see that there is some prasad fallen, immediately take it so that nobody's feet is on the prasad. And so the people who eat that food also has that respect or not. In the hotel, no matter it is wasted, we are paying for it. This is the attitude. But when they receive that prasad, it's a prasad.
Let's not waste anything of it, not even a single grain of it. I wholly understand the positivity with the thought process that goes behind the cooking influences the food. Food habits are changing. Now cuisines have changed. Like we live in a tropical country, not entire India, but we have a mix and match of weather conditions, climatic conditions. There is Thai, there is Mexican, there is Italian, there is Chinese, you name it, and there is that kind of variety. Earlier, there was a time when men and women would go to work, they would take their lunch boxes with them. But that trend has slowly changed and people started eating out in the offices. But then also, because it is just one meal in the office, or maybe two meals in the office, people wanted variety there. And people started consuming without knowing if it is okay to eat something, irrespective of what the season is, whether it suits your body or not.
Once there was somebody who went outside India to another country. I think it was Japan or Singapore, Malaysia, this side. And he was so ill when he came. He had to be rushed in a hospital, and from there to the ambulance, and he came to India. He said, "I would like to go home." So finally, the health was deteriorating continuously. I don't know what the exact problem was, but he was near death. And everybody was wondering, what is it that you ate? So he said, I ate soup. I went to a hotel, had some soup and this and that. And so what was the soup of? And he said, I took mushroom soup. So finally, they went to that hotel where the mushroom soup was served. And in that, they found that there were some wild mushrooms. And that had an adverse effect in the system, because he, from childhood, never had such taste. But because there he was in a company of others, and so he took that mushroom soup, and that affected his system. And some germs went into his body through that mushroom, and he was near death. The doctors were trying to save him, and finally, with lot of efforts, they managed to save him. Today he is alive, and now he is coming back regularly to his normal life. But he says 2 years in the hospital, 2 years suffering with this disease which he got through the wild mushrooms that he took. So this shows that sometimes it is affecting the health to that level. It is said that all others also took the same soup, but nothing happened to them. He was only affected. Why? Because his system from childhood was not ready to accept that. So this is what the doctors diagnosed and said, look, maybe you are allergic to it and your body reacted. So that is why sometimes from childhood, whatever we have been taking and which is like an alien to this body, it is better not to take.
Now there is overeating that is very much associated with depression. Obesity is a problem where people who are in depression tend to eat more and they gain weight. So this is at an alarming rate which is growing, and which is a health problem, of course.
Yeah.
But now people seek answers for it. Why did we eat so much? Were we not conscious about what we are eating? So what I want to know about is, of course, depression is a mental disorder. It is a disease that has clinical support as well. But how do we connect it to eating? It is already connected to eating. If we want to bring about a change, then probably we must focus on what we eat, how we eat, when we eat.
I think you might have heard about it, that there was first some years ago, there was this disease called mad cow's disease in Europe. And it was seen that the beef which they were consuming, they were getting into this mental disorder, depression, because of consuming that beef. And why? Then the whole analysis was done, and it was seen that when the cattle was being killed, or like a goat that is being killed, and they get the sensation that now we are going to die. So the animals, they shiver a lot before they are killed. And it is seen that from their brains, some secretion of some chemicals is there because of fear. So the fear chemical which is released from their brains and which goes into their entire body, into their beef also. So when they are cut, that chemical cannot be separated from that meat. So when they consume that meat with those chemicals, the fear in them is also generating. And that fear leads them into depression. So that's why in Europe, when this awareness was created and they labeled it as mad cow's disease, many turned vegetarian because of that. Even in the United States today, there are so many people who are changing their eating habits from non-veg to veg. They're becoming vegetarian because now gradually it is clinically being proved that how our system is not made for it. So the awareness, when people get that awareness, they are changing their food habits.
So if that awareness comes in, if they, well, we have learned a lesson hard way, but yes, we have learned it now. And I think this trend of changing from non-vegetarian diet to more vegetarian diet to more healthier diet, people going on further to veganism and other kinds of stuff where...
And even organic.
Yes, organic food.
Yeah.
This is something which is changing, and we see there is a positive change also happening. But it is important that, at least from this episode, from what we have discussed, I think many people, many of our friends who are watching this would agree that it is time that they focus on what they eat and how they eat and where they eat it from.
Yeah.
And that would certainly impact the quality of their lives, the way they think, their quotient of happiness, the level of happiness, and their emotional satisfaction. All of it depends on that. So thank you very much, Didi, for coming on the show today.
My pleasure.
So the food as is the mind. People might have heard it before, but I think today we have had an understanding that how much food is important. When we think about food for thought, we have thought about food today. And I think this thought leads us to something which is very important, that if we do not change, as simple as our daily meal, how it is cooked, how is it cooked, and where is it cooked, and where the source are for when we bring it on the kitchen table, it impacts the quality of our lives. It impacts the state of our mind. Let's stay happy. Let's keep changing. Till then, take care.
हमारे YouTube चैनल गॉडलीवुड स्टूडियो को सब्सक्राइब करें और साथ ही हर नए वीडियो के अपडेट के लिए बेल आइकन को क्लिक करें।